How's it going, everyone? And these are 3 mistakes to avoid in the city. Number 1 is what I'm about to do right now, which is stop directly behind a car in the middle. Now, why is this problematic? Because if I'm looking at my mirrors and I have to escape and go somewhere, I'm gonna have to go straight, then swerve to go around. So whenever you come to a stop, it depends on the situation. If there's enough room over here, move over to the left, or maybe there's room on the right, move to the right. But do not park or stop at a stoplight just like that directly behind somebody. Always leave yourself an out. What's your escape path? You see what I'm saying? So that's the number 1 thing, and I see that happen all the time. Almost every time I come right around down here by the beach, there's someone sitting directly behind a car. I'm like, you're just waiting to get sandwiched, and it's going to take longer time for you to get out of the way if you have to kind of swerve and go around versus just accelerating straight with your escape path if you would have parked on either the extreme left or the extreme right. Of course, if you're doing that, don't block the other lane. Obviously, stay within your lane, but you can still park in such a way where you have a better escape path versus just sitting directly behind someone. So that's definitely number 1, do not do. Number 2, second thing to avoid doing in the city, look, I'm going to do both at the same time. I'm directly behind a car and the bike is in neutral. Hand is off. You know, the car is behind me, no car is behind me, it doesn't matter. If something happens, it's going to take way longer to pull in the clutch, put the bike into first gear, and then find your escape route, and then actually take off and go there quickly. By the time you even think about what to do, you're probably just going to get hit from the back anyway. So keep your bike in gear. And there's so many internet mechanics out there and all kinds of people saying it's going to destroy your bike or whatever else. You'll wear out the clutch faster. But look it, I'm perfectly willing to accept, let's say it's true, let's say the clutch will wear out a tiny bit faster. Is that not worth saving your life by just keeping your damn bike in gear? How weak are your hands where you can't hold the clutch in for a minute? Like, it's so ridiculous. But look at, see what I'm doing right now? Here's the first one again. There's no cars in this turning lane, so if something happened behind me, I could escape and go that way. See what I'm saying? And leave the bike in gear so you're always ready to go. So if your argument for not holding the clutch and putting the bike in neutral is because it may wear out the clutch faster, which it doesn't do that, just pull. If you hold the clutch all the way in, you're perfectly fine. If you're holding it like in the friction zone, then sure, maybe a little bit. But either way, if your argument is I put the bike in neutral because it's going to wear out the clutch faster, you should go home and park your bike to make the tires last longer. It's so stupid. Don't ride your bike to make the gas last longer in the tank. It doesn't make any sense. We are riding toys that could go really fast and are super fun. If you're worried that much about saving money, you wouldn't even have a motorcycle in the first place. So do not park directly behind somebody. That's stupid. You have no escape path. And do not put your bike in neutral. It doesn't make any sense to. Whatever argument I've heard over the last 9 years, almost 10 years of riding, none of it makes sense. None of it is based on logic or any rational thinking whatsoever. It's just all excuses to be lazy is what I've found. I have not found one single argument that makes sense to me, because this has happened to me twice now that I have had to absolutely take off within a split second. Otherwise I was going to get hit from the back and I was going to get hit from the side. If my bike would have been in neutral, it would have taken too long for me to pull in the clutch, put the bike in gear, and then worry about where I'm going and then take off. I would have gotten hit twice. So because of that, like, what is this guy doing? There's not even a stop sign. So because of that, I'm leaving the bike in gear. And out of all the miles I've had ridden so far, so 500,000 miles already in 9 years of riding, and all those low speed practicing I do and everything else I do, I have never had one bike ever had any clutch issues whatsoever. People think like, oh, good job, you know, you're going to replace your clutch every 2,000 miles with what you do, or that's going to destroy the clutch faster based on this video or that video. Wow, maybe I'm just lucky, but I've never had any clutch issues ever. I also know people who practice, like, for example, my MotoJitsu drills, and they burn up their clutch within 1 month because they don't know what they're doing. So it's obviously all dependent on the rider. Do you know what you're doing or do you not know what you're doing? But I highly suggest do not park directly behind somebody and leaving the bike in first gear. The third common mistake I see people do is whenever they're going through an intersection, they're just riding around like everybody's going to perfectly obey every single law. They ride through the intersection one-handed, not looking both ways, not anticipating someone's going to pull out in front of them, someone's going to blow the light, someone's going to do whatever. You always have to anticipate stupid because stupid is everywhere. So no matter what, like even right here, I could lane split if I wanted to, but I just don't feel like it, right? I'm looking in the mirrors behind me, and if someone's going to come up behind me really fast and I don't think they're going to stop, I'm immediately going to go in between these two cars. I'm not in that lane whatsoever. So look, at this car doesn't have to move over because I'm not in their lane, but I'm at the extreme left that I can be, but I'm not blocking that lane to my left. But there is an escape path. There's still 3 feet of cement I could go if someone were coming up behind me super fast. So whenever you're going through intersections, don't just be all willy-nilly and not expecting something crazy to happen. So here's the intersection, right? A whole bunch of cops up there. There must be an accident, and people go through the intersection like this. Look at all these people, bicycle riders, whatever else, like da, 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 da. Like, cover your controls, look both ways, and always anticipate someone is going to do something very stupid. To not do that would be absolutely asinine. It just doesn't make any sense. Here we go again. So first in line at a stoplight, right? Put the bike in neutral, and then people just sit here like this, and they're just like, la la, hand off, whatever. Here comes a whole bunch of cars behind me. So if something were to happen this way, make a left-hand turn, looking in my mirrors, something going on, I'm like, oh, what's going on? Pull the clutch, first gear. Okay, where do I go? Bam. The whole time you're doing that and thinking about what's going on, you're already gotten hit. Just pull the clutch fully in and just wait here. Look in the other light, like it's still green. So this light's not going to turn green right now because it's still green going this way. But pay attention to what's going on. So these people just walked across me, so you can look at the walk signal, right? So it just turned yellow. Now I'm looking around, looking at my mirror, looking around, anybody turning left, anybody turning right. So once it turns green, just double make sure, triple make sure that everything's actually good. I know people that are just completely oblivious to intersections. It's like, that's the #1 location of multi-vehicle accidents is intersections. It's like one of the most dangerous places for motorcycle riders. And they're just like, oh, I'm okay. I'm gonna ride through with one hand and not pay attention to anything. Not look behind me in the mirrors, not anticipate stupid people are gonna be stupid and do stupid things. Like for example, like a left-hand turn, a left-hand car, like taking a left-hand turn, pull out in front of you. Like, oh, that car pulled out in front of me and I T-boned him. Why in the world were you not anticipating that was gonna happen? What are you thinking about? Like if there's ever a car that's gonna make a left-hand turn in front of me and I'm going straight, the only thing I'm damn near thinking about is that car is gonna pull out in front of me, covering the controls. So if it does happen, I am not surprised. But when people are surprised like that, my first thought is, dude, your judgment sucks. Like, what in the world could you possibly be thinking about besides the car pulling out in front of you? Like, that's the #1 thing that you should be worried about. Why are you not looking up ahead? Why are you not predicting that's going to happen? What are you thinking about? It's just a lack of judgment, you see what I'm saying? And that gets people in trouble more than anything. Just like this, I see people still do this. They ride all the way over here next to these cars. If a car door opened up right now, I'm going to have to swerve the hell out of the way. Well, how about you just use your brain and move the hell over here away from the cars? So if they do open up the car door, you're 7 feet away. But that's what people don't understand. It's all your judgment before your skill. If you put yourself in better situations, don't ride in blind spots, don't ride really close to parked cars, don't park directly behind a car, keeping your bike in neutral, covering the controls, anticipating stupid. If you use your brain for all these things, you're going to greatly reduce your chances of getting yourself in an accident while riding around the city because you're a smarter rider. You see what I'm saying? And then, that's just one half of the coin. So using your judgment to be a smart rider, good. But then if in case you actually have to stop or swerve, you've already practiced it so much before there's ever a real emergency in front of you where your muscle memory knows what to do in that moment. I ask people so many times, when's the last time you practiced stopping your bike as fast as you can from 40 miles per hour? And most people say never. I'm like, bro, you're not riding behind me. Because if something were to happen, I know I could stop really fast. I practice all the time because I want to keep myself sharp. You never practice stopping as fast as you can. I may stop really fast and I avoid from hitting whatever, but you're going to probably slam into the back of me because you don't know how to control your bike. So now you're a liability to everybody else you're riding with because you have no idea what you're doing. That's why I ride with maybe 5 people in this entire state that I'm really comfortable riding with, because I know they know how to ride. And not just some random people that think practicing is stupid, not wearing any gear or whatever else. You see what I'm saying? So be very careful who you ride with. This says a lot about you, who you ride with. So keep that in mind. But either way, you ride by yourself, if you ride with the group or do whatever, Practice swerving and braking to the point where it's all muscle memory. You don't have to think about it. But before those skills ever come into play, hopefully your brain don't even put you in situations that you have to use those skills in the first place. And that's what it means to be an actual really good rider. I know people that can ride, they're pretty good riders, pretty good, but every single year they crash their bike and have to get a new one. I'm like, well, you're obviously doing something that you're not learning from. Like, you're doing something wrong over and over again and you're not learning from any of it. I don't know what it is. Take some more courses, or maybe they're pretty good but their judgment's just terrible and they crash a bunch. You have to have both to be a safe rider, judgment and skill. You can't just have one or the other. Because I know people that are pretty good, but their judgment is so bad they like fly around at 100 miles per hour lane splitting and just doing crazy overtaking on blind corners. They go around other people on blind corners, like just dumb stuff, like really dumb, and they get themselves in trouble because they're riding around in blind spots and everything else. I also know people that they're just safety Joe Dan. They never go above the speed limit everywhere and they think they're really good riders, but they have no clue how to swerve or brake or do any of my MotoJitsu drills that are simple or anything else. So if you're only pure judgment and wearing a big bright yellow suit and 50,000 pairs of lights and you think you're all safe, that's one half of it. But you also have to have the skill to actually ride your bike properly, right? So it requires both. You have to have like an MMA approach to riding if you want to be an actual good, well-rounded rider. You have to be good at everything, not just a one-trick pony. If you're only like a boxer and you think you're gonna make it in the UFC, you're gonna get humbled very quickly and beaten the hell up. If you're only a wrestler and have no idea how to strike or do takedown defense or grappling or jiu-jitsu or anything, you only know how to wrestle, you will also get destroyed. The way it is now in MMA, it's like you have to know everything and you have to know the defense and counters to everything, otherwise you're literally screwing yourself over. Same thing with riding. If you only practice riding in one certain type of environment, you're going to be extremely limited by every other type of riding that is, and you don't know all those lessons you will learn and how much better you would get if you practice those other disciplines as well. You see what I'm saying? It's like a wrestler, like, oh, why do I need to learn kickboxing? Why do I need to learn Muay Thai? Why do I need to learn jiu-jitsu? Why should I learn this? Why should I learn that? Well, because you're going into an environment where you don't know what the other guy is going to bring. In this circumstance, the other guy is the opponent and you don't know what they know how to do or don't know how to do, so you have to be ready for anything. So in riding motorcycles, the street is everything. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to be dirty, rainy, people jumping out. You have no idea what the hell is going on, so you should be prepared to handle your bike in any situation that may or may not happen, right? People, cars, dirt, starts raining randomly, dirt in the middle of the turn. You should be able to handle anything that may happen. If not, because you're limited, the street's not limited. Whatever may happen to you, it could just be the craziest thing you ever encountered, and that could happen on your very next ride. The fact that you don't know what's going to happen and to not prepare yourself for as best outcome as possible is pretty insane to me. So it doesn't make any sense. And even if you have no courses where you live in the world, you can always take Champ U, that's an online course, and you can always go out and experiment and practice. You can always do that. You don't need a parking lot, you don't need cones, you don't even have to get off your bike. You can still go ride around and practice and do very specific drills and just think about what's going on in a different way. You can always find better riders and mentors that have them give you feedback. There's so much stuff you could do, and you never have to go to a course or set up any of my drills or need a cone or need a parking lot. Those are just all excuses for not wanting to actually improve. So there we are. 3 things. Don't stop directly behind a car. Keep your damn bike in first gear with an escape route. And when you're going through an intersection like right now, cover the controls. Look, make sure it's actually clear, just like what I just did right there. But people that don't do that, and then something happens, they hit the car, and then they spend the rest of their lives, stupid car pulled out in front of me, I don't know what the hell is going on, they hate motorcycle about, and all these excuses. And my first thought is, you need to look in the mirror. Why in the world were you riding through an intersection without predicting that was going to happen in the first place? Why were you not covering the controls? Why did you not slow down a little bit going through the intersection? Why did you not predict that that guy was going to do that? Like, that's the only thing you should be predicting, is someone's going to do something stupid at an intersection. What else could you possibly be thinking about? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, judgment before skill, everyone. That's the moral of the story. Stop making excuses for other people when you yourself don't even know how to ride that well. All right, everybody. I'm going to fill up the bike and yeah. Thanks for watching.